Chair recognizes Senator from Cumberland, Senator Volk.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I present Senate Amendment B with a filing number of S535 to LD 1695 and wish to speak to my motion.
The Senator from Cumberland, Senator Volk, presents Senate Amendment A with a Chair was in error. Senator from Cumberland, Senator Volk presents Senate Amendment B with the filing number of S535 to LD 1695 and moves its adoption. The Secretary will read Senate Amendment B.
Senate Amendment B has a filing number of
Senator from Cumberland,
S-535.
Senator Volk moves the further reading of Senate Amendment B be dispensed with. The Senator may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, this amendment does three things. It increases the minimum wage in Maine in 4 increments. The first by $1, and then it gets to $10 an hour. That first increase of $1 from $7.50 an hour, which is our current minimum wage, to $8.50 an hour, would be effective July 1st of this year, with the subsequent increases occurring on October 1st of each year after that, with the final increase effective in 2019. It also adds an emergency enactment clause to this bill. The business community has come forward to ask legislators to make this increase effective now. Doing so gives Maine workers a guarantee that their wages will go up, no matter what happens with the referendum question this fall that we are all very much aware of. If the referendum passes, the wages would still increase. There is no downside to this amendment for Maine workers. Increasing the minimum wage now to $10 an hour ensures that a reasonable, sustainable minimum wage increase is implemented without forcing our citizens to choose between a referendum that would negatively impact our state or defeating any increase in the minimum wage. It also increases the wage and only the wage. I think we're all well aware that one of the issues that many of us have, and that certainly our restaurants and our inns that are so prevalent and so famous in this state know, is that the referendum question would eliminate the tip credit. It would be phased out. Servers who currently earn 30, 40, sometimes more than that an hour would be tagged at earning $12 an hour. There would be a footnote in every tourism book about the United States. In Maine, servers don't need to be tipped. I've traveled in Europe. I know that when I'm in Spain, I'm not going to tip my server because that is not their custom, because their workers are paid a minimum wage. Their system is different from ours. We would be the only state that I'm aware of in the whole country that would have that footnote. And in a state as dependent on tourism as we are, I would suggest that's not a footnote that we want to see, and that's not a footnote that our servers want to see. Preserving the tip credit is critical to our local small business restaurants, our tourism industry, and the thousands of Maine workers who make their living in this sector. I hope that you will join me to act now, today, to increase the minimum wage for workers without waiting for the outcome in November. The other thing that this amendment would do, which is different from the referendum, is it would not have the CPI indexing. CPI indexing sounds good, but the problem with it is that having a minimum wage that is constantly increasing, would never decrease, is going to be very, very challenging for our state to enforce. And it's going to be extremely challenging for our
Chair recognizes Senator. Please defer. Chair recognizes Senator from Knox, Senator Merrimont.
Thank you, Mr. President. Men and women of the Senate. Point of order regarding this. I keep hearing things that aren't in this bill. Is discussion supposed to be limited to what's in the bill? I know it's my first term, but I believe I've heard that.
Chair would advise the members that he's been very lenient in the past and will continue somewhat of the leniency, but we will want to try to contain our comments to the amendment at hand.
So I just want to make it clear that all this amendment does is that it increases the minimum wage, and it does make it effective July 1st, and that is the time at which we have our busiest labor season. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, and I do hope that you'll follow my light with this critical vote.
Chair recognizes Senator from